Hey everyone, Dylan here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my next review of Naruto. So I already did an anime review of the Land of Waves arc for Naruto, and now I'm going to be doing an anime review of the Chunin exam. So hopefully this might be a long video, but I'm gonna try to do good on it. Again, I probably will be spoiling stuff because Naruto holds a place in my heart as a series, and so trying to hold back from talking about stuff will be kind of hard, so that's your warning for spoilers and stuff. But yeah, anyways, so the Chunin exams arc, basically they come back from the Land of Waves. They finish their mission, and at this point they're feeling pretty strong. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, they're feeling probably cocky because what they've been through, and they are definitely stronger. But now when they go into the Chunin exams, basically the exam to advance, they're Genin right now, and then there's Chunin, and then Jonin, the ultimate ninja. Genin or beginner ninja. Chunin are kind of in between. They're still strong ninja. They're kind of like the medium of the bunch. They're strong ninja, but they're not considered the elite. And so they're going to be taking a test. They all get nominated, and all the rookie ninja from their class get nominated to take part in the Chunin exams. They get tested, just like a pre-test, to see if they can even enter, to see if they're good enough and strong enough, and then after that they pass it. And the thing about this arc is that there's a lot more characters introduced, so the roster kind of expands a bit, and there's a good bit of variety in the Chunin exams. The Chunin exams is awesome. It's probably the best arc in Part 1 Naruto, to be honest. You get all the other, the other Rookie 9 ninja. You get other ninja from different villages, because the Chunin exams is held also with other villages. So other ninja from different villages come to partake in the test, and there's different phases to the test. And so the first one, well, I should say that some of the new characters that we end up getting introduced to are, Neji, Rock Lee, which are in a squad that kind of was a year ahead of Naruto's class, and they're very strong. We get Neji Hyuga. We get introduced to him. We get introduced to the other rookies, Kiba and his dog Akamaru. We have Hinata Hyuga, which is someone who has watched Naruto and admires him. You have Shino. You have Shikamaru, Choji, Ino, and all those. And then, but anyways, so you kind of meet those strong people. During that, actually, we get a little sense of how strong Rock Lee is, because he challenges Sasuke to a fight. And Sasuke, being confident and cocky with his Sharingan and stuff, thinks, oh, this will be no sweat. And then Rock Lee ends up smacking him down. So we're like, holy crap, this guy's strong. And so that's a start. But the first part of the exam ends up being a test, sort of. And you have this just big group of the Rookie 9 ninja plus all the other ninja from the different villages and stuff. And they basically have a test, and there's a test within the test. So the test is like pencil and paper. They have to answer these really difficult questions, and if you're not a brainiac, it's very difficult. And your whole squad has to pass, or the others, or your whole squad fails. If not all three get a good enough score, then the others fail. And in this, though, they know it's super difficult. So, and if you get caught cheating, then your whole squad is disqualified. But another thing about it is the whole thing about the test, if you're not smart enough to be able to figure it out yourself, is to cheat without getting caught. Basically, you know, being a shinobi, figuring out how to cheat without getting detected, without getting caught, so you still get the answers. And that's kind of the first test, and we see kind of how different people with their different abilities deal with this. And it's pretty cool to see. Naruto is screwed and can't really do much on his own. And then he ends up passing. Interestingly, because there were 9 questions, and at a certain time they were going to have the final and 10th question. And Naruto pretty much based his survival on that 10th question. And then their proctor, Ibiki, I think is his name, he's kind of like a interrogation specialist as their proctor in his field. So he kind of like does these mind games with them, and he says, you know, if you answer the final or the 10th question and you get it wrong or something like that, then you will be a genin forever. You will fail the test, and you will, like, you know, never be able to take the Chunin exams again, essentially. So to drop out now if, like, you're worried about that. And Naruto pretty much just yells out that I don't care if I'm a genin forever, and blah blah blah, you know, Naruto. And he ends up passing without answering. I mean, I guess he technically answered the 10th question, but he really didn't answer any other questions. So it was really interesting in that way. And that was the first part of the Chunin exams. Whew, and then we get into part 2. This is where things get interesting. And again, there's variety for each like test and exam, so it's really kind of cool. It honestly makes me wonder, what do you have to do to become a Jonin? We never found out what it takes to become a Jonin. Like, we know the Chunin exams, but is there a Jonin exam, or like is it like you have to be nominated? Like, what is it? You know, I'm just kind of curious how you become a Chunin or a Jonin. But whatever. So part 2 is the Forest of Death. Sounds fun, right? So all the squads get together, and they start at different gates to go into this Forest of Death, which has a bunch of monsters and wildlife and all this stuff. And each squad has a scroll. One's like a heaven scroll, and you're given a random scroll. You're either given a heaven scroll or an earth scroll. And the goal is, before time is up, to get the other scroll that you didn't get, and then make it to the end of, like, to the place they need, where the like thing ends. And so it's like a survival type thing. Also, like, it's really cool if you think about it. You know, watching them do teamwork, fighting other teams, trying to get the scrolls, survival, and a bunch of stuff happens. So, just the big main stuff, of course, is we get introduced to more characters and what they can do, and some of the scary things they can do. But you have pretty much the big main thing that happens is with Sasuke and Orochimaru. And Orochimaru shows up and is crazy. So this really super powerful ninja is he shows up in the Forest of Death, and Sakura and Sasuke are together, but Naruto gets separated from them because he gets eaten by a snake. He'll work that out himself at some point. But then you have Sasuke just being in fear. He's frozen with fear at the sight of Orochimaru, because I guess he just senses his power, and he's just so intimidated that he can't even move, and so stuff's getting really bad. And I just want to say, the reveal of Orochimaru when I was a kid was freaking scary. Like, when you see, like, when I was a kid and that happened, it was like scary. And like, just his Orochimaru's power, he seemed just so freaky and weird. And then you have his freaking soundtrack of his theme. his theme was freaking awesome, but also terrifying as a kid to hear that. I was like, holy crap. So, like Orochimaru's theme is awesome. I'm just having to say that. It's so good. But, through that, you know, Sasuke's in fear, and then eventually Naruto shows up and gets free and starts trying to fight back, and eventually gets taken down by Orochimaru, and then that eventually gets Naruto, or gets Sasuke's like butt in gear to actually do something, and then he ends up fighting, and then he ends up doing pretty good, doing some cool stuff. Orochimaru ends up like biting him in the neck and leaving a curse mark, and eventually that leads to problems because he eventually wakes up. A bunch of stuff ends up happening. I don't want to go through every single thing, and it gives him a lot of power, but he can't control it. And the whole point about the curse mark is so he seeks Orochimaru out for more power. And when Sasuke uses his Sharingan and uses other stuff to drain his chakra down, the curse mark activates, so he has to be really careful. But that's kind of what happens there. They eventually do get the other scroll that they need to. Then then we get to kind of the... It's kind of the part 3 to the Chunin exams, but not really. It's a preliminary round. So we get everyone that ends up showing back up. There's like the Sound Ninja, like I said, or they're like the new ninja from the Sound Village. There's the Sand Ninja Village squad that makes it, and then the rest of them are the Leaf Village ninja. All 9 of the rookies show up there, and because apparently they had too many people make it and pass, they had to hold a preliminary like tournament round style thing to like weed out more people. So from that point on, it was just one-on-one fights, and then we get some really cool fights where we kind of get to really see what each like person can do. You know, we get to see Shino and his weird bugs. That freaking was creepy as a kid, seeing that. But that kind of thing. We get to see Naruto be stronger and see what he can do. We get to see what Kiba can do with Akamaru, and you know, just get to see what everybody can do, which is cool. You know, you have like the really forgettable fight, Ino versus Sakura, and I guess we get to see at least Ino use her mind transfer jutsu more. But, then you get just a bunch of cool different fights. We get to see what the Byakugan can do. We get to see Hinata fight and Neji fight, and get to see Gaara and his sand. Why am I really just glossing over that? No, we get to see probably one of the best fights in freaking Naruto, Rock Lee versus Gaara. I mean, that freaking fight is one of my favorite fights in like Part 1 Naruto, and it is probably the best fight in Naruto, if not at least second best, something like that. So Rock Lee versus Gaara, we get such a cool fight there. It was so great. Of course, we get an interesting thing, a little tidbit of Shikamaru. You don't think much of him, but he ends up kind of being like having a little bit of intelligence, you know, with the fight. Yeah, hold that there. He will get more development at some point. My heat did kick on, so I don't know how loud that'll be in here, so I apologize for that. Yeah. So, kind of all that happens, everyone ends up fighting, and the last people that are left after all the fights end up being Naruto, Neji, Sasuke, Gaara, Kankuro, and Tamari, Shikamaru, and Dosu, the like sound ninja guy. He ends up kind of, well, he does end up passing, and Shino passes too. But I mean, he ends up passing, but he ends up getting killed later because by Gaara, because he wants to take out Gaara so he can fight Sasuke. But yeah, but that is like that part. Then you get like the third and real final third part of the Chunin exams, where it's a tournament still, but it's like one-on-one, and it's in a big stadium, and it's in front of all these like people, and like the Hokage and the Kazekage, which is from the like sand village, and they watch, and then you finally get to see, you know, it's just this big thing. And then you have like Naruto versus Neji, and Neji is supposed to be like the most powerful genin, and Naruto, of course, is supposed to be considered the weakest, so it's like the weakest versus the strongest. And then you have Sasuke versus Gaara. And then you end up having Shikamaru versus Temari. And yeah, those cool things. So pretty much in between that, though, before they do the fights, they end up it's kind of isn't, I mean, it's kind of part of the Chunin exams, but it's kind of like in the middle like of it. It's where they get a month, I believe it was a month, to train up to get strong, so they could have a better shot when they do fight. And in that time, basically, Naruto finds Jiraiya, and that pairing starts off, and he ends up training with Jiraiya, learning how to summon like toads, giant toads, and learning how to use his nine-tailed fox chakra, which all that was really cool. Seeing Jiraiya. Jiraiya's a weird character. He's cool, but he's also really weird as well. Now I think about it, all the Sannin are weird. Just realize that. Maybe not to the level of Orochimaru though. But then during that time also, you just have a bunch of different stuff happen, and Sasuke training, learning the Chidori and how to move like Rock Lee. And yeah, then you get to the actual final fights, which end up having Naruto fighting, like I said, Neji, in an interesting fight. And I'm gonna be honest, I like the fight because it's like symbolic a little bit of the weakest versus the strongest, and the weakest still being able to become strong. And although the only problem I have with this, to be really honest, is this is kind of the point where Naruto is no longer an underdog, and also he's not using his own power. He's using the nine-tailed fox power. And honestly, he would have never beaten Neji if it weren't for being able to use the nine-tailed fox chakra. Now, I mean, let me know down in the comments below, do you think it's fair for him to use the nine-tailed fox's chakra? Like it's there and he can use it and stuff, but it's not actually his own power. So, like, at that point, it's like, you're not an underdog anymore. You're using like a freaking tailed beast power and like, without that on your own, you wouldn't have been able to beat Neji. So, with that, I'm kind of like, yeah, he's not an underdog at that point, for one, but for two, it's not his own power, so it's kind of like cheating a little bit. So, I don't know, I kind of don't like that. It kind of like took away from what it kind of felt like in the beginning, but nonetheless, if I push that fact aside, it was actually a pretty cool fight, and I liked it a good bit. And of course, then we get an interesting fight with Shikamaru and Temari, and like I said, Shikamaru's starting to get development here, because we saw a little bit what he could do with the preliminary rounds, but then in this final round we see, and then we get his sensei, Asuma, talking about him as well, that he's actually a genius. Shikamaru's actually a genius, but he doesn't have the motivation to be a ninja. He's kind of lazy, and so that's kind of what holds him back. But when he actually does try, he's actually really brilliant, and I thought the fight was really cool and strategic, and I actually really liked it. So it's one of my favorite fights in part 1, actually. So yeah. So the Shikamaru fight was really cool, seeing him and all that good stuff. Then we have Sasuke versus Gaara. Of course, you have Sasuke showing everybody off his new skills, being able to move as fast as Rock Lee, which was like, holy crap. That one was kind of weird to me. It's like, I know that like the Sharingan can copy like jutsu and different stuff, but I don't know, it seems weird to me that he can copy Lee's speed, because for one, Sasuke never saw Rock Lee's real speed. Because Rock Lee, when he fought him, had the weights on, and so I don't know how Sasuke saw how fast Lee really was. I don't really understand how that worked, honestly. And then, I don't know how you can copy someone's speed. That seems kind of weird to me, but I don't know. Maybe it works out somehow. I don't know. But yeah, he ends up getting really fast like that, and then Kakashi teaches him the Lightning Blade, or it's also known as Chidori. He needed that speed because he needed to be fast to be able to deliver that attack at a blinding speed with the lightning and all that. So that was really cool to see. And then that's kind of the end of the Chunin exams. Pretty much at that point, stuff goes down, and then we lead into the Leaf Destruction arc. And so the Chunin exams kind of ends at a weird point, but that kind of wraps up the arc pretty much at the near end of Sasuke and Gaara's fight, where that just kind of ends off. And so that's kind of like the Chunin exams in a nutshell. Hopefully that wasn't too long. My opinion is I love the Chunin exams. It just has a variety of different things. You have a couple tournaments there. You have the Forest of Death. You have the one thing in Naruto, between part 1 or not part 1, but between the Land of Waves arc and then the Chunin exams, you should get a variety of different things, and it's not the same thing. So I think part 1 Naruto is really good. I'm pretty much going through the Leaf Destruction arc right now. I'm near the end of it, actually, so that'll be something I talk about and review next. And then of course after that is the Finding Tsunade arc, I believe. But yeah, Chunin exams arc is great. I love it. I really enjoyed watching it a second time. Not a second time, I've seen it many times. But watching it again, even blind, I've often wondered, will I have a less good experience with anime since I can't visually see it? And maybe because I've still seen these things visually first, but I still really enjoy it and all that good stuff. So I think what really helps is good voice acting, good sound, and good music. If the music is really good, it can help me get into the show a lot more. So that's one of the most important things in an anime at this point, is it has to have a good soundtrack and music that just draw me in more and make me feel it better, because that's what I use more, my ears more, to get invested. So the sound needs to be on point. But yeah, just a little thing there. But all in all, like I said, Chunin exams, awesome. Probably the best arc in part 1 Naruto. Good stuff all around. You're not going to get bored. There's different stuff. And then next time, I will talk about the Leaf Destruction arc. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the Chunin exams arc. Do you like it? What is your favorite part of the Chunin exams arc? Mine would the tournaments, to be real honest. So probably the tournaments. The tournaments would probably be my the preliminary round thing, and then the final tournament round stuff. The Forest of Death was probably good. My least favorite was probably the test taking part. But yeah, let me know what your favorite part of the Chunin exams was and all that stuff. So yeah, that's kind of been it for me. Hopefully this wasn't too long. This has been my review of Naruto Chunin exams anime arc. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for listening. I will see you in the next video.